What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Opening Edge. I am your host, quite a bit of a loser. I am your host, Raz, but today I'm joined by my two stooges. Both can't afford, even though more successful gamblers than I am, nice AirPods. They'll be doing their string talking today with their old-fashioned headphones. Boys, how you doing today? I know we had a rough finish to the PGA, and I know that I'm reeling from the Denver Nuggets game. Rube, I know you tailed me. Anybody who listens to this show, if there is anybody who listens to this show, also probably tailed me. Tough go, but how you doing today? Wits, you came with a little bit of a spark. You're giving a disco finger when you were coming on here.
It was more just the finger of God up there. I thought I had a good take on the Knicks series when they were up 2-0.
He's jumping right into this, huh?
I'm gonna jump.
We're not even at free. Fine, jump. Tell us, Mr. Hot Take over here.
Get on the soapbox.
Yeah, tell us about
you can have your Robinson.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get on the soapbox because
this is Witz's show. Everybody, turn around.
Hey, I'm just gonna say there were texts behind the scenes. There was me talking on the show last week that even with a 2-0 lead, I thought the Knicks were in a lot of trouble, and they end up going down really in flames in Game 7. And whether or not Mitchell Robinson was the first domino, I said it right there. OG Anunoby went down. Josh Hart got hurt. Jalen Brunson got hurt. The 7-man rotation ended up being a very delicate thing, and they lost to what I thought before the series was an inferior Pacers team, and they couldn't hang around for 7 games. So you can give me all the looks you want, but I made a call. It was a good call. I don't. You made a call.
Two games in the series. I mean, we can go back
when they were down 2-0.
We go back to the receipts, and I said take the Pacers money line for the series. I said that way back when. I'm not jumping on that. I think I fell in love
after they tied it. I think you said that after they tied it 2-2.
No, before the series even started. Before the series started, plus 245. I will pull up the receipt. I said that would be where I'm putting my money. But again, you're on your soapbox. I don't care. I'm sad Jalen Brunson didn't get the opportunity to go. I mean, to be fair, it's like the lesser of two evils, and we're going to get into the playoffs. But hey, Rube, as we did last night for Wits, let's give Wits some claps. Because we must.
Xander.
Yeah, nice job, Xander. Fuck you. You're rooting against your own team, by the way. Let's go to freezing cold takes, how we like to start the show, and we've got a lot of them. And I know I threw my stooges under the bus last week, so it's only fair that I really take myself behind the barn and shoot myself on this show. Ooh, the Denver Nuggets. Historic loss. 58-38 with 10 minutes and 32 seconds left in the third quarter. Easy 20-point lead, easy 20-point victory. In fact, I was sweating out my hedge of the Timberwolves plus 4.5. Turns out I'd be sweating a lot more shortly after that. They blew the largest lead in a Game 7 ever, and by a large margin. It blew the largest halftime lead in a Game 7. Anthony Edwards is him. I'm going to say that before I shit on myself and the Denver Nuggets. Call it how you want it, that Edwards went off, that Rudy Gobert locked it down, that Cat had the best dunk of the year over at Nikola Jokic, which again, if we're battling on the athletic scale here, wasn't that impressive. My biggest issue, and you'd be like, Raz, what the fuck are you paying attention to? During that run, 2 things. 0 boxing out. I sound like a high school basketball coach. The amount of offensive rebounds that the Timberwolves got to end that game, there was never an opportunity for the Denver defense to get a stop. They scored every time they had the ball down the stretch. Again, they had 38 points with 10 minutes left in the third quarter. They finished with 98. Absolutely unacceptable. And then also Mike Malone eating timeouts. Maybe he used all of them at the end of the game when it was too late. But when they cut the lead to 15, cut the lead to 12, cut the lead to 8, no timeouts to be seen. They let Jokic only sit for 2 minutes of that entire. He looked like his horses had to drag him out of the arena last night. Don't know what to say. That was a lot of money I lost. And to me, there really isn't an excuse for them losing that game, no matter how well Anthony Edwards played. And I know he played like shit to start. He was 1 of 9 to start the game. I'm just kind of reeling. That is a freezing cold take if you join me, but it's an undeserving one, and I just have to own up to it. And you guys can tell me You guys can poo-poo me, tell me I'm freezing, tell me the icicles are coming out of my nostrils, whatever you want. I don't know.
I mean, this is the classic lesson on don't celebrate your bets before they win, because you had an all-time victory lap before the series was over. I think we could run it back, and basically we had a 10-minute conversation about a Nuggets versus Celtics bet in the finals, and how confident you were for the Celtics to lose the Nuggets. Obviously, that bet is going to have to wait at least a year. But back to the game, I mean, I thought the Nuggets were going to close it out too, and everything looked like they were halfway through that game. And I think I won't give Xander credit for his Mitchell Robinson take, because I think that's a little bit out there. But I do remember him talking about the lack of depth the Nuggets had and how that would come back to bite them. And I think that was on full display in Game 7. I mean, Jamal Murray had a great first half, was invisible in the second half. Jokic tried to do everything he could with literally no supporting cast around him. I think, probably shot a little bit too many threes, but I think that's just probably a product of him running out of gas at the end of the game. But everyone else on that team on offense was invisible for the last 35 minutes of the game. And it was a pretty terrible performance, to be honest, in kind of a shocking way for the series to end.
Yeah, I mean, and you bring up the lack of depth. I mean, if you were to tell me before the game that Jokic was going to have 34, Murray was going to have 35, and Anthony Edwards is going to score 16, I'd probably be in the same place as Raz right now. But, I mean, you talk about the depth. The guys who were really the saviors last year, Jokic and Murray are great, right? They're one of the best duos in the league, but guys like Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, even Bones Highland for a part of last season. I think Christian Brown is a great guy at the end of the rotation, but he's really not a sixth man, right? Which is the role that he was forced into. And you look at Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon, as great as they can look sometimes.
And I want to argue that, where was, you can talk depth all you want, but where was Michael Porter Jr.? I
was
6
just
and 7.
about to say, yeah, and none of those guys showed up either. So it was really bizarre that they blew that big of a lead. But you look on the other side of things, and one thing I disagreed about in the pre-show notes is that was a great game from Cat. I mean, as much as we rip on him, and I've ripped on him too, he really came out to play, right? 23 points, 12 rebounds. He made a lot of big plays, right, besides the dunk. And, when Anthony Edwards scored 16, you had Cat and Jaden McDaniels put up 23 points apiece. So it was just a good team effort. They kept coming at the Nuggets, and the Nuggets ran out of gas, and it was pretty shocking, especially being at home. But this Timberwolves team, they just they never really gave up, right? Even after how weird of a series it was, and I'm pretty shocked, that the Nuggets blew it, especially being up that many points. But this Timberwolves team, they look up and coming, right? They've got a good leader, and if Cat can kind of get out of his own head a little bit, he's a pretty good number 2, and they've got a lot of good pieces on that team, which should be an interesting series with Dallas. I think they're definitely the better team, but we'll see.
And to be clear, on the 16 points from Edwards, I don't think that stat line tells the story of how that game concluded, because Edwards absolutely closed it out. I know Jaden McDaniels hit a couple of big shots, but Edwards had a massive steal, fast break dunk. Edwards had a massive pull-up 3 that just put it he might have played shitty for 85% of the game, but in the 15% of the game that mattered the most, and along that comeback trail, he was quintessential to that team. And sure, Cat had a good game, but again, if Cat plays well and is supposed to be this number 2 star player on this team, maybe this series shouldn't have even gotten to Game 7 when you go up 2-0 on the road. You don't drop games 3 and 4 back at home. Again, this isn't the Cat story. I'm more intrigued with how Anthony Edwards at such a young age is already so captivating and already controlling so much of the NBA. I mean, this guy, honestly, Rube, we can have a fun bet. I'm not going to do that even money bet with you. But Timberwolves Celtics, I'm leaning Timberwolves right now. I don't think the Celtics have run into it.
Tell me where to sign. Tell me where to sign.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm more than down. I'm not doing this bet before they get there.
You're more than down, but you're not doing it. Which one? Pick one.
I'll do it if they have to get there first. We have some time. It's not like we're taking it
Yeah,
now.
I guess we learned our lesson. No, but I want it in writing that we're doing even money. You said it, so
I just told you I wouldn't do even money. Is literally what I just said. I said I won't do it like the Nuggets. I'm not doing even money.
All right, we'll wait for Nuggets.
The Celtics are minus 150 right now to win the NBA title. It's fucking absurd. So
and rightfully so. They're playing the Sisters of the Poor, and then probably one team that got beaten up in 7 games in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, I think the NBA season. I mean, this could come back to bite me, but I think it's over. Like, I think the Nuggets are the only team that could beat the Celtics, and now that they're out, I think it's all formality.
Let it be known. This will be the biting track right here. This will be the receipt.
It's out there. I'll put it out there. I don't care, but the Celtics are only going to get healthier, and the Pacers are maybe they'll squeak out 1 game, maybe 2. I don't know. That series is not going to be competitive.
I'm giving you the Celtics to the finals is an absolute given. Now, I would fucking sit here laughing my ass off knowing the Pacers beat them in what would be one of the epic and continual meltdowns that is the greater city of Boston. But I don't see it, right? Like, again, even the Pacers were getting banged up teams, and there's nothing that impressive about this Boston Celtics run, and I don't even think they're getting the best team from the West, except for I think the Timberwolves are formidable defensively.
The only play who's in front of you, though. I mean,
that's fine.
If they win a title easily, it doesn't matter.
It still shows up in the record book. Yeah, it's still a ring. You get to wear the ring while we're on the NBA. I'm giving you your freezing cold take. You can try to argue all you want with me here. Your thoughts on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Luka, baby, doesn't matter if he's missing a leg. Doesn't matter if he's got a long third leg dangling in between him and tripping him up from time to time. The Dallas Mavericks handled business, took that series, is sending Oklahoma City into the future potentially. Again, I was saying I think that's a good young team if they can keep the pieces together and continue to draft, because all they have is draft picks left. I mean, the abundance of young players that are going to be on that Oklahoma City Thunder team moving forward is going to be crazy. I thought the better team won. I thought they were the better team before the series. I like the plus value on that. Didn't put enough money on that to make up for what happened last night. But I mean, it's almost no money because I'm so in the red. I can't see straight. But yeah, you definitely are going to backpedal a little bit on this Thunder team. That's your cold take. Yeah. Freezing cold take of the week. Rube on the
let's not go freezing cold take of the week here. We already got that one out of the way. But yeah, I thought the Thunder would be I thought the Thunder could get by the Mavericks. They didn't. I mean, I think the Mavericks just a little bit more experience at this point, and I thought the Thunder would get a little bit more out of their supporting cast. I think Chet and Jalen Williams were good early in that first game. Kind of didn't do much from there. SGA did what he could really, but I think they're just a little bit too immature to beat a team with, seasoned vets like Luka and Kyrie, and then even some of the Dallas supporting cast that I didn't really even know existed, to be honest, before this series. But the PJ Washingtons and the Derek Lively's of the world stepping up, like that game 6 that Lively had down the stretch was pretty impressive for a rookie. And then obviously some of those threes that PJ Washington hit early in the series, and then even closing out those free throws in game 6. We would have thought it'd be the Luka Kyrie show, and it was at times, but Dallas really, some of those role players really stepped up, and I think that was ultimately the difference in them getting by the Thunder.
Yeah, you talked about some of those midseason acquisitions: PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Lively stepping, even Derek Jones, who used to be a member of the Bulls. I mean, all those guys. It was a great series, and I think the last minute of that game could have very easily gone the Thunder's way. Mavs make a big play. I think it's funny how we keep talking about how Luka's injured and he puts up a triple-double every game. It's just like, everybody's hurt. Like, I'm tired of hearing about it.
It's a nice little. I mean, everybody may be hurt, but I mean, not to the extent. I think Luka's a little more banged up than he's willing to let on, and that's some tough mentality that you get from these international players.
He's putting up a triple-double every game. Like,
you don't see Kawhi Leonard out there. You don't see Kawhi Leonard out there. You don't see LeBron James when he's tweaked an ankle. You don't see. I mean, the weakness in the NBA. I want to honor Luka for being out there and playing with his team, even if he's ailing. I mean, Giannis wasn't out there. Dame Lillard missed a game. Like, when all these superstars are battling injuries, you can say that everyone's banged up at this time of year, but only one of them is fucking playing. So and now here we are. Although I do think the buck stops here. We're on the NBA. 2 series left. I know there really isn't much of a reason to talk about the Celtics. They're minus 900 to win the series against the Pacers. It'd be probably more interesting to find a bet on how many games the series will go, but I'm sure it's all minus figures, even in the sweep category. The interesting one is the Timberwolves minus 170 over the Dallas Mavericks plus 140. I figured that I do want to go out on record and say, in an era of basketball that we've matured with, not grown up with, where offense has been king, this is the best defense I've seen, hands down, on a basketball team. I mean, I can't, not during the fucking superstar eras where we had LeBron and D Wade and Bosh in there. I can't really compare a defense. Maybe that Detroit Pistons team from back, but again, that's us growing up, right? Those 2003 Pistons or whatever they were. This is the best defense. This Timberwolves team has the best defense I've ever seen, whether it be because of their 3 7-footers and Cat and Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert, so be it. But it's scary to watch how shut down Denver was. I don't care if they're retired or not. They were shut down in 4 games this past series, and that's why the Timberwolves are moving on. I do like the Timberwolves minus 170. Do I have the money to lay on it? No, I don't like taking that figure, but I like the Timberwolves here, and it seems like a series that you're right could go 7, Rube. I mean,
no.
7 or 6. I don't think this is a gentleman's sweep or a regular sweep. So, I mean, I'm on the Timberwolves in this series, and it's the only series I think bettable, obviously, out of the 2.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair to say. I think this is a coin flip of a series. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or another, so I'll take the plus money with the Mavericks. I think the tiebreaker for me is I'll take the best player in the series, and I'll argue that that's Luka any day. Even if he's ailing a little bit. I know the Timberwolves, play great defense. Anthony Edwards is a stud, but they're really coming off an emotional series with the Nuggets that really I could see that took a lot out of them. Now the Mavericks went through a tough 6-game series as well, but just given how I think these teams are so evenly matched, I'll take the plus money if I have to pick one and go with the Mavericks.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't really have a good lean on the series, but if you like the Mavs, maybe maybe you want to see how game 1 goes. Because if they go down 1-0, I mean, is it that big of a deal in the realm of everything? No, right? Because they're going to play 2 games on the road. So if you like the Mavs, maybe you see how game 1 goes, and if you still like them, if they come out of there 1-1, right, I think it's definitely to your benefit. But yeah, I don't really like laying the 170 with Minnesota. Like Rube said, they just came off a very emotional series, went to 7 games. I think they are the better team, but it's really all dependent on how the guys play. I think they've got the better defense. And it's funny, the NBA, it's a completely different sport in the playoffs. Like watching how physical that these guys can actually get when it's not the regular season and the totals are in the the 230s or the 240s. It's a lot more fun to watch. But I think the one job I wouldn't want to have right now is a referee, because I mean every play you could argue there's a foul on, so it gets very hard to rep these games. But yeah, we'll see how Luka plays. I think he's probably going to be the X factor. If he doesn't play well, I don't think the Mavs stand a chance. But if you do like the Mavs, I'd probably wait till after game 1 or game 2 even, because even if they're down 2-0, I think they've still got a chance. But yeah, I don't have a big win.
I think you get an insane price too at 2-0. I think better than what they gave the Nuggets. So, I mean, that thing could be in the 8 to 9 range.
Yeah, it's a big assumption though, trying to wait to 2-0. If they go 1-1, or even if somehow the Mavs win 2 games, right, then you just got to be okay with just laying off the series if that's your opinion, which might be fine.
I'm kind of with Witz. I don't really have much. I like the Timberwolves. I just don't like this isn't thrilling enough or need to put my money. There's not enough juice, I guess, for me to put money on this series, especially since you and I are going to be betting on the NBA Finals. It sounds like. We'll see how they go. We'll be getting back to you with some game action here next week. Quick puck talk. I'm still sweating. Edmonton forces Game 7, which is tonight. If you're listening to this, it was 2 nights ago, so you'll either know I'm above ground or 6 feet under, depending on how that goes. Still sweating. Still need Edmonton. For some reason, a series that they were minus 200 in, they are struggling mightily with. But hey, Shout out to Game 7s. It is in Vancouver, a little nerve-wracking. We'll see what happens. And luckily, Rube, you and I still got the Rangers. That just like my Mavericks money or series pick won't take care of the debt I'm in currently. But hey, Rangers to win the Stanley Cup. We got a big one against the Florida Panthers coming up. I think I would have rather gotten the Boston draw there, but we're gonna. Who plays hockey in Florida? Huh? It's a swamp down there. It's not warm. It's not cool enough to have a rink. You know, like the Rangers, Shervetskin or.
I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to pretend to assess the draw.
I don't know anything.
I'm just happy that they won against Carolina in
on
Game
to the
6.
next one.
My favorite athlete in the world, Chris Kreider, who I didn't know who he was 4 days ago, but he really came up big. Hat trick in the third period. The Rangers were on the ropes there a little bit in Game 6. You know, going up 3-0, and Carolina was up on them in the third period. So that was a little sweaty there, and I'm happy they pulled that one out. And you know, play who's in front of you. So I don't know anything about the Florida Panthers. I think they're good, but I think the Rangers are too, and we'll see what happens.
And we can invite people, Rube. Right now the series line is New York plus 130, so feel free to hop on with us. Even hop on championship. If you want to just skip the series, you're like, I don't need it. I want to see them win 8 games. Come join us. Come join us on the Stanley Cup. But if you just want to play 4 games with us, because I'm in there too, right? Obviously pending Edmonton, but I just need them to win 4, get to the Stanley Cup. Plus 130 seems like fun. Wits, you're a New Yorker, you know? You're a New Yorker at heart, at least. Feels like a fun line for you to hop on.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I'm interested to see how this Oilers game goes, because it's getting hairy. I agree with you. I don't even have a bet on the series, but the Oilers were a big favorite, and they
just watching these
Connor McDavid legacy game tonight. Not what I'm saying, what I've heard the people saying. So
that's all I've heard is this could be Connor McDavid's last run. The guy's 26 years old, so I don't know. I mean, that means I'm done.
I think he'll have a couple more runs, but he's
maybe not in Edmonton.
Can he win the big one? That's true. I have no idea where he's going.
But we do have series lines as well. Dallas minus 250 against the Canucks would be plus 210. Clearly, major gap in that one. But if it is the Dallas Stars versus Edmonton Oilers, Dallas would be minus 115, Edmonton minus 105. Way closer. Again, leaning to your boy a bit. No, a little bit leaning back the other direction. Whatever it is, we're sweating Edmonton for 5 more. I need 5 more Edmonton wins, and then we can be a happy camper. That's pretty much puck talk. Got nothing else in that department. Let's get to the big event. The one that all 3 of us are reeling on. Live betting is one of the greatest functions of the PGA. I know you guys got Bryson earlier. We were all riding Bryson. I had him 7-1. It was set up perfectly. Let's just get the freezing cold takes out of the way. We have 2. We'll start with mine, which is a little bit more minor. I was pretty heavy on Windham Clark going into this tournament. Learn from me. I'm a talker. So is he. You see what happened when people talk. You stop working, basically. He has been absolutely irrelevant since his comments at the Masters, and I should have been aware of that. I wasn't, and I had to suffer along with him. So that was rough. And then a Sobel freezing cold take. The boys can say whatever they want to say. Sobel has been anti Xander Schauffele. Just didn't think he could win the big one. Didn't think he had the cones or the stones to finish one off. Birdieing 18 says, fuck you, Opening Edge. I am a major champion. And, hey, claps to Xander. He earned it. He deserved it. He beat both my guys. I had Hovland and DeChambeau, but Hovland plays hole 18 on Sundays like I do every single hole. So that was hard to watch. But you guys clearly seem royally butthurt about this Xander thing. I mean, even your namesake, Witz. You know, he beat us. What can you say?
I mean, obviously, I was a little bit upset, but can't be mad at Schauffele. He finally did it, right? And I know this was not the only show that said a thing or two about him throughout his entire career. And I was talking with you on the phone. I think it was a few days ago, and it's kind of that he reminds me a little bit of Andy Reid, right? Because Andy Reid for such a long time was just that the great coach that can never win the big one. Now people don't even think twice about it, right? Because he won Super Bowls with the Chiefs.
I mean, it ends it.
Yeah. So, I mean, Schauffele been playing great. He played great all tournament, and he finally came out on a Sunday and he shot 6 under. I know the course played easier than a lot of people wanted, whatever, but they were all playing the same course. He played great, right? Even after that bogey on 10, when people were starting to say, this looks like, the Xander that we've seen every back nine, every Sunday, he comes back with back-to-back birdies. And he had a great shot on 18 after hitting that hairy lie. I was thinking about myself trying to take that shot, and that ball's being hooked into the stands. And but yeah, great effort. And I can't say a bad thing about Bryson either. I mean, he came to play the entire day, every par putt that was right on the edge. He didn't break down. He came out. He birdied 18. It was a great day. I got beat. I was mad that we lost, but I don't think we gave it away. So you got to tip your cap sometimes.
Yeah, I've had lots of losses in my betting career on golf. I mean, that's what you get when you're taking winners. But yeah, I mean, this one hurt. Like, I think Bryson played about as good as he could have played. So, like Xander said, he didn't give it away, and we just ran into a buzzsaw in Schauffele. I think Schauffele's been the best player in the world, not named Scottie Scheffler, over the last basically all season, I would say. He's had a couple other close calls. Should have probably won the week before, the week before at Wells Fargo. And he just played great all week. I think he got a little bit lucky on a couple of those lies that he had. I know that drive on 2 was hooking pretty hard to the water. That thing stays up. If that thing goes in the water, maybe we're having a different conversation here. But you could say the same about Bryson getting the tree kick of a lifetime on 16. So I don't know. I think Bryson was a good pick all around. I think he played great. He just ran into a guy that was one shot better, and
Which
didn't give it away. So,
and how about the lip? If you could just have simultaneous cameras on the three of our faces on that last Schauffele putt, when that thing touches them all, right? That is just a ball going around the rim. It was something to watch and something so disappointing.
Yeah, there's nothing like a sweat with the behind the ball view on 18, like to win a tournament. That type of putt is just like all this 4 days all culminating into this one putt and the camera angle. It was it was crazy. But yeah, like Rube said, I mean, Bryson doesn't get that kick off the tree and hits maybe the shot of the tournament. I mean, that 8-iron to a foot and a half. Might not even be sitting here talking about how close it was, but yeah, Schauffele, he was gritty, right? It was very unlike what he normally does. So he has been playing some great golf, right? Just always known for not winning the big one. He's definitely had some PGA Tour wins, but he finally did it. You got to give him credit, and yeah, it hurts. But I think one thing is definitely true. Bryson DeChambeau is great for the game of golf, whether you like him or not. He brings eyeballs to the screen.
His passion was also awesome to watch. Like and in a time where I think golf's in a lot of trouble, there's just no face for it, the separation of the leagues and everything. There was something really cool about, obviously we have money on the guy, so we're rooting for him. We probably would say other things if we didn't, but just some of the fist pumps, some of the aggression he let out after massive shots, big putts. I mean, he had some huge putt saves. He had a chip in on 6 that was incredible, and that roar was that's fun. Like, that's what you want when you're watching sports. It's like watching the Anthony Edwards waving goodbye to Denver. You kind of need a little action, whether he's your hero or villain. You need something. In golf, I love Scottie, but golf is being run and held at the top by some of the most vanilla guys I've ever seen. I mean,
hey, you want to talk about villains? We got a mugshot this week.
Hey, free Scottie. Free Scottie. One of the craziest things, because, and that's not even the one that I think screwed him over the most. You pointed it out to me. Scottie might have won this one with his caddy on Saturday. He shot 6 under again on Sunday. Really, if he shot even, he was in the final pairing or would have been close to the final pairing of this tournament. Scottie robbed by some Kentucky cop, and then also with the weird timing of his caddy's graduation or birthday he needed to attend. Interesting week for Scottie. Really fought the elements, and kind of scary to think that a lot needed to happen for him not to win, basically. the world was basically trying to stop Scottie this weekend.
I mean, the guy, the bad round was going to come at some point, whether it was directly because of the situation he was in or whether it wasn't, I don't know. But he played great for 3 days. If he plays anywhere like that for that fourth day on Saturday, yeah, we could be having a different conversation here. But I guess the guy's entitled to shoot over par once this year. I think it's fair to say. So he'll be back.
I think this is kind of like the Mitchell Robinson thing. Is it true? Maybe. Is it not? I don't know. But he I think one of a few things, either it could have been Ted Scott not being here, because this wasn't from my view, but just watching the Golf Channel, he made a couple of decisions that the guys in the panel were kind of questioning on Saturday. That they said, if Ted Scott was there, maybe he wouldn't have done that. I think another angle is, he was on such a high from Friday. He played great and people were surprised by it, but it's just kind of like that, like a star player effect in the NBA. When your star player goes down, everybody plays great and people are like, oh, maybe this can work. And then the next day they kind of go back to, oh, they actually need that guy. Or maybe he just had a bad round. Like, it could have been one of the three things.
Pretty hard to go to jail and have felony charges against you and go play a tournament. I mean, it really, for him to play as well as he did is scary.
Yeah.
No one else on that tour is going to jail and showing up to their tee time in short. He was stretching in a jail cell. He's just that gifted, and honestly,
that's why he's plus 275 this week.
And that's why he's plus 275, which we're going to wrap up with the Charles Schwab Classic, or as Witz would like to say, his arch rival. So we are going to go in. I always pick first. Just follow my lead. Hopefully it works out one of these days. But I'm not straying from the favorite. The way he's playing is too good. Plus 245. Take Scottie. Put the majority of what you're betting on anybody else you wanted to bet on this week onto Scottie. And if not, come with your boy. I can promise you this man has cemented his legacy into my life forever, providing me with one of the best television sets I have ever purchased. Please take at 45-1 my boy Tom Hoge. He's the man. He is everything you want in a golfer. He is just behind Scottie in ball striking. Tom Hoge this week makes a statement in Texas.
I might take Tom Hoge, and we can see who does better this week.
It's the Hoge man, baby.
The line is 13 under.
We could do that. We could pick. We could all pick 3 golfers. Throw the little pot. I thought we were going to do that anyways.
I'll go.
Best golfer.
I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go Tony Finau this week. I'm going to kind of split my bets into like half on a winner, half on top 5, just as a Scheffler hedge, because I think he is by far the best player in the field. I don't want to be empty-handed if one of my guys plays well but gets beaten by Scottie. But I think Tony Finau has historically played well in the state of Texas. He's also coming off a pretty solid week at the PGA Championship. He was right up there for a little bit. I think he fell off a little bit, but he's hitting the ball good. I think this course will set up well for him. I think he's had a slow start to the year, but I think he's starting to trend in the right direction. And I guess I'm somewhere around 30-1. Feels like a pretty good play this week. So I'll go with Tony for the Schwab.
Hey, for the Schwab. Witty, who you got at the Schwabby?
Yeah, I'm kind of taking a similar approach to Rube this week. I'm going to go a little farther down the board. I really like Akshay Bhatia this week. Guy was, I would say, is the past couple of years kind of up and coming, real skinny lefty, hits the ball a mile, and he didn't make the cut this past week at the PGA, but I think overall for the year, been playing some really good golf, and I think, depending on what site you're looking at, you can find him in between 50 and 60-1. So I think, putting a top 20 bet on him. He's a guy that's there on Sunday a lot. I know this is, I would say, a little bit tougher of a field than we normally see him on top of, but I like Akshay Bhatia here, a little bit farther down the board. A lot of these guys, I'm sure, are going to be a little bit drained, from doing like really well, I would say, in the PGA. Guys like Justin Rose, Scottie the week that he had, and then a lot of these other guys. But I like Bhatia, top 20 play, but I'll throw a sprinkle on him to win as well.
That is our bets for the Schwabby. Feel free to ride and die with us. We are going to have very soon, I'll put this here for our editors to drop. We're going to have a fourth wall website where you will be able to follow our picks, even bet with us. We will then eventually lock some of them up when we officially prove to you we can make good bets and you can buy some of our bets, but you'll also be able to get most of our merchandise as well as episodes and everything on our fourth wall website. That's all the time we have this week, everybody. We are running up against the barrel here. We are almost out of things to talk about. There will be mentions of a sport with a twig and a ball. I mean, Paul Skeens really took it to our Cubs this past weekend. We will address that sport, I promise. I know we gave hockey some time, so we'll give baseball some time. But coming up very soon, I'm watering the plants. That is my Stooges, Witz, and Rube. We are going to start breaking down the sport we do absolutely best, from division to division, from players to players, fantasy rankings, everything in between. Starting this summer, we will get you so ready for the NFL season. You become the next Bill Gates, the next Jeff Bezos, the next Ethan Rosenzweig. You will literally be so sufficient with your fantasy football and NFL game picks. You'll never want to listen to another show ever. This has been The Opening Edge. We'll catch you next week, everybody. Peace.